we'd say he's the future, but he's now. He was best player on the pitch by a country mile. They had way too much to them. It's a statement performance from Mbappe, but it was a statement performance from Pochettino. Without Neymar, without Di Maria, that was a clinic. It really was.
And of course, we'll give them their credit. We'll talk about them in great detail. But what is happening with this Barcelona side? I mean, they looked disinterested. It's a knockout tie in the Champions League.
Disinterest is the word. I think they had no power, no togetherness. I thought there was no connection between the back four and the front three, and in between it looked bitty. Messi looked disinterested. I mean, it's really hard for any ex-player or any pundit to criticise him because he's a genius and, like I said, the greatest player I've seen play football. But tonight, he didn't look like he was emotionally engaged in the game. And he's a leader out there, and so's PK, and so's Busquets. And the spine of the team at Barcelona looked like weak and just fell to bits. And 4-1, it could have been 5 or 6. And we'll praise PSG to the roof, but it's worrying times for Barcelona.
Yeah. Strange experience, isn't it, watching them play like that? What was it that Glenn Hoddle said? A rebuild is perhaps needed.
Yeah.
I think you might be right. Just to let you know that elsewhere this evening, Liverpool were in action. They were playing Leipzig. Of course, they had to play the game in Hungary because they can't travel. Man, there was only really, if not already through. Mind you, it's hard to say that when it's these two sides going toe-to-toe after what happened 4 years around the Champions League. Look, let's just sort of discuss the fallout, I suppose, from tonight. I mean, let's actually start with Ronald Koeman and Barcelona. You can't lose games like this without some serious questions being asked out in Spain. Where does this leave him and his team?
Well, it's not his fault. I don't think it's Koeman's fault at all. I mean, I just think it's a thankless task right now. I think that Barcelona team, it was, you know, the best team in the world for large periods now. That team is a shadow of itself. Yeah. You know, they don't have more possession than the opposition. PSG can go there missing 2 of its best players and still have more possession than Barcelona, out-football them, you know, and then Joe made the point, no power. There's no power, there's no intensity, they can't press.
Isn't that the manager's job to find intensity, to find desire,
well, no, but
effort out there?
No, but they don't have the personnel. You know, you look at the money they've spent on, you know, Griezmann and Dembele, 2 fabulous players, great individuals, cost 100 million plus. Right now, the best players are kids coming through the academy. Ansu Fati, Pedri, who they got for virtually nothing. He's only 18. There's a gap between the talented young kids coming through. Trincão's another one of those who came on and looked good. Dest is a good player. They're way behind. They're way, way behind. And I just think we saw it against Bayern last year. There was no Koeman there. That wasn't his fault. You know, the manager got the sack after that. And I think right now Koeman realises they're a long way off winning anything. And you've never, ever said that about a Barca team.
I think he's spot on. I think we talk about the power and the side of it, down the spine of the team. So I agree with Owen in the sense that it's not Koeman's fault. The rot set in when you was paying for players who wasn't the right fit for your club. And also, I think there should have been someone in the club 3-4 years ago, instead of dishing out big contracts to Busquets, PKs, your Albas, like players who've been fabulous players for your club. They've been legends of the club. They've done it. There needed to be a pragmatic approach and go, right, do we need to give these guys 5-year contracts where they're locked into a club and really gamble on them being the players they were on day one of the 5-year contract, on second year, third year, fourth year? I think they're not the same players, and it happens to all footballers where your star fades and you can't do what you used to do. But it seems to have happened to the spine of that Barcelona team all at once. And again, it's hard to criticise them because they are giants of the game. PK, Busquets, they won it all. But they're just off it. And then you feel for the youngsters coming in, they're coming into it's tough for them because it's not a well-oiled machine now. Glenn's right in what he said. A rebuild's needed, and they need to be brave.
Rebuild with what money?
Well, they're going to have to do it through arguably the best academy.
You know what they're going to have to do? They're going to have to sell. You know, you look at Kylian Mbappe. His contract runs out in a year. By the way, PSG got to lock him down real quick because after that performance, I know people were talking about money and teams not having money. Everybody's going to find enough money for Kylian Mbappe. That was a performance like the old Brazilian Ronaldo. Absolutely amazing.
Well, let's look back through the goals, and we have to remind ourselves that they took the lead this evening.
Yeah, they took the lead against the run of play. Yeah. Lovely ball from Messi. I mean, he's never going to lose that. Regardless of how old he is, he's going to be able to drop the ball in a sixpence. It rules of the game. It's a penalty. He's clipped him. He's gone down, and Messi dispatches it lovely in the top bins there. I mean, he's a genius. Tonight, there was something missing to him. The spark was gone. Again, we talk about the connection in defence. I mean, Dembele, I didn't think he helped out Dest at all. Kurzawa and Mbappe down that flank had a field day. Here, no intensity owing to the defending, but it's a lovely finish.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Verratti, you said, Joe, about him playing as a 10, he was magnificent. What all that is. But the fullbacks had a field day. You know, I think we saw Florenzi on the right-hand side, we saw Kurzawa on the left-hand side. They just bombed forward. The Barca front three, they didn't really come back. They didn't track back. And I don't care how good a team you are, if you have 3 or 4 not really working for the rest of the year, it's impossible. We saw that against Bayern. Suarez and Messi didn't really come back, and Bayern absolutely ran riot over them. Again, the same thing happened today. And if Neymar was there and Di Maria was there, it probably could have been more.
The conversation ahead of this was, if Mbappe leaves, they can go and get Messi. Why on earth, on this performance tonight, would you want to swap one for the other?
Well, you'd have to do your due diligence before signing Messi, because you have to, like I said, be pragmatic, look at tonight's game and look at these last 20, 30 games. He looked uninterested tonight. Whether he's carrying an injury, there might be an asterisk attached to it. He might have been not feeling well. We don't see him every week now because we don't do La Liga. But the 34-year-old Messi, if he plays like that, then it will be a gamble. And it seems insane to say it, to take him into a club like Man City, for instance, where Pep relies on the way they play at the moment, energy, enthusiasm, togetherness. Because we're just going back to Dest at the right back and Dembele in front of him. Yeah. It didn't seem like, if I'm playing right back and Dembele's not helping me, I'm screaming at him, get back in, talking. But for a young fullback not to do that, but then he's got to tell Lionel Messi to run, but Lionel, you can't tell. Like it's a mess at Barca, and I don't know how they're going to work it out. But I can't see Messi staying there. Because why would he? He hasn't got enough time to wait for the rebuild. But it's going to be tough for him to connect into one of these big teams like Man City or PSG, because he'll have to roll back the clock and be able to move like he did 3-4 years ago.
Thing is, you're not signing anyone other than Kylian Mbappe right now. If you got, thing is, he's only got a year left on his deal, Jay. Yeah. That's unheard of for a player this good. Go to the camp now and get a hat-trick. And to be fair, he absolutely ripped the life out of every Barcelona player in every phase. 1v1. You know, he can run in behind, hold his line. Again, that's Florenzi down the right-hand side. Look, look at Griezmann. Nowhere near him. I mean, honestly, the tracking back was non-existent. And to be fair, PK came back. He looked rusty. You know, he's been out for a very long time, so it's difficult. To be fair, it was 4-1, and it probably could have been more.
Should we have a look at the hat-trick goal?
Yeah, it was a lovely goal. It was a lovely goal. It sums up the game in this, because here, look at toiling. And look at the movement. He actually leaves a bit too much on the ball there, Draxler. But he's in such form. He just opens up his body and just bends it. There was no thought of taking a touch here, Owen, was there? I mean, look at this.
Look at the Barca players tracking back. I mean, there's only 3 back. I mean, they're already chasing the game. But to be fair, Joe's right there. I mean, the quality of Mbappe to hit that top bin against one of the best keepers in the world. Literally, just absolutely majestic performance from PSG. And I think to be fair, if you look at Poch, that's probably one of his greatest team performances. Yeah. Missing 2 important players to go there against, a Barcelona side is look at this huge performance. I mean, the thing is, Joe's right. He gets out of spaces he has no right to, and because he's so explosive, say Barca don't have power. He's got so much power. Everybody's scared of him.
So much desire to go with that power.
Hungry, yeah, and that's the thing what young players give you. 22 is hungry. He embraced the stage. Barca just looked like. Barca used to scare everybody, didn't they, Joe? They're not scaring anybody like this more. And Mbappe was just.
It's almost sad to see, because we've seen recent history to the heights that they've hit Barcelona, and to see them like they are. But to watch Mbappe, like I said, I think he's the most influential player on the planet. Not because of what